Hi everyone, this is James from Jude Tarot, and it's December 31st. Happy New Year's Eve. It's my birthday. Happy Capricorn energy. I'm going to do a roundup of 10 of my favorite oracle decks from 2023. Not all of my favorites, but 10 of my favorites. So let's take a look and see what got my energy flowing this year. Yeah. The first one up is Michelle Matuza's The Shaman's Way Oracle. I love her work. I think she has 3 previous decks. I have all of her decks. I like the artwork. I find the decks to be really accessible and insightful. And the Shaman's Way Oracle works just as beautifully as any of her other decks and is as beautifully illustrated. I just love these pastel or chalk drawings on this dark background. Really respond to that. And 3 of my favorite cards in this deck are the Enlightenment card, the Upper World card, and the Play card. And I think that these 3 cards work really well together as well. So, and just a reminder that there's no particular order in which I'm showing you these decks in terms of hierarchy of favorites, but this is the Walk Through the Eternal Gardens Oracle and Lenormand deck from Cosmic Butcher. This was a Kickstarter campaign. I think that these cards are really striking against this black background, this collage work. Everything has a floral element to it. This is one of the Lenormand cards in the deck and another. So yeah, I just really like the energy of this deck and the shadow side of this deck. 3 of my favorite cards in this deck are the Ship from the Lenormand portion of the deck, the Growth, and the Mirage cards. Eugene Vinitsky makes some of the best decks out there, and this year he took an old historical deck and reimagined it as the Travel Pocket Oracle. And I just, as with all of his decks, I just really love the quality of the card stock, the thought and the artwork that goes into it. This is just a really great reproduction deck with the certificate of authenticity that comes with all of Eugene's decks. And 3 of my favorite cards in this deck are the Choice, the Mermaid Singing, and the Witch Doctor. And each of the cards has a little saying on it. So Choice says, "There is a time to fish and a time to dry nets." The Mermaid Singing says, "Mermaids don't lose sleep over the opinions of shrimp." I love that. And the Witch Doctor, "Those who don't believe in magic will never find it." And how true is that? Okay, next up is the Celtic Goddesses, Witches, and Queens Oracle by Danu Forrest and Dan Goodfellow. This deck made it onto my list of favorite decks because of the wealth of information about the characters in this deck. And this is the Rhiannon card, which, of course, you know, all Stevie Nicks fans, and I am one. These are three of my favorite cards in the deck. Mish, Branwen, and Joan the Woad. Look at the power of those figures. Next up is Fëanor Yuletide Tales Lenormand deck. I love her illustrations. They're so whimsical, and yet they're also very powerful and insightful. I love that witch. This is a Lenormand deck, so these are familiar characters, as in every deck: the key, the moon, the lily. But in her typical illustrative style and whimsical approach, three of my favorite cards in the deck are the Tower, the Man, and the Whip. The Mushroom Spirit Oracle by Nicola McIntosh is not a deck that I thought I would really connect with or appreciate to the depth that I do. I like her work. It's just, I thought, mushrooms, mushroom spirits, but again, just like the Celtic Goddesses, Witches, and Queens deck, the Mushroom Spirit Oracle brings depth and education together, I suppose, in learning about different types of mushrooms that maybe you didn't even know existed. Some of them that you do, like the oyster mushroom. There's the rosy bonnet, the dead man's fingers, who knew? The lion's mane. So there's a lot of really interesting and beautiful mushrooms in this deck, beautifully illustrated. The card stock is really high quality, and I love the sort of sagey olive green matte gilt on the edging. Three of my favorite cards from this deck are the Verdigris Agaric, the Turkey Tail, and the Octopus Stinkhorn. I'm going to get this big sucker out here. This is the Citadel Oracle deck by Fez Inkwright. Obviously, this is the deluxe, crazy Spy Masters Gambit box set edition. There are two decks in here. The Citadel Fantasy Oracle, which is, both of these decks are, again, really high quality cards, really great thick card stock, beautiful foil work on them, incredible illustrations and correspondences, and three of my favorite cards from this deck. These were two runners-up. But three of my favorites are the Chiromancer, the Painter, and the Sleeper. And the other deck included in this set, along with this is limited to 2,000 copies, and this is copy 388, signed by Fez. This is the deck of emblems that came with it. The cards are the same shape and the same card stock. They have a different card back, but they can be used in conjunction with the Citadel Oracle. Same color scheme, same beautiful foil work on these. And three of my favorite cards in this deck are the Key, the Broom, and the Stairs. Next up here we have the Folklore Oracle by Mike Bass. I love this deck. It is, I really dig folklore and folk art, and this deck is beautifully illustrated, very colorful. Again, it's a learning deck. I guess there's something going on there for me. I like to learn about legends and folklore and whatever it is, I don't know, I like to learn. So this is a really, really fun deck, but also nicely, the artwork is really cool on it. These are three of my favorite cards in the deck. The Wendigo, the Blackthorn, and the Banshee. This deck is divided up into a few different categories. So there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of animals, and then there's a lot of fantastical figures. Yeah. So this deck is the Pillars deck by Travis Lawrence. I love Travis's work. He's an incredible hermetic artist, and I was familiar with his work, and we talked a little bit about creating this deck and how it could look and how it could work, and I'm so glad that he pursued it and made this really interesting and unique deck, oracle deck, Kabbalistic, hermetic, alchemical ideas encapsulated in his hand-colored woodcut art. Three of my, it's hard to pick favorites in this deck. There's so many really great illustrations, but three of my favorites in here are these. These cards don't have names, they don't have correspondences, and there's no booklet included to guide you. It's an entirely intuitive and self-directed deck. And finally, this was tough to narrow this down to 10. There were a couple of decks that I love that I didn't include, but this is the Witches Through History Grimoire and Oracle deck by Devin Forst. Again, another deck I chose because, and that I love because of the opportunity for learning. The book that comes with this deck is beautifully illustrated. There are illustrations in here that aren't included in the deck. There's a lot of information in here. So again, an opportunity for learning, which I really dig. And then the cards, it's only a 25 card deck, but the illustrations are really fun and highly stylized, but uniform in color and style. It's divided into people and tools, witches' tools, and familiars, and plant magic. So there's 4 categories, and 3 of my favorite cards in this deck are the Mother Shipton card, the Horned God card, and the Owl card. And as you can see at the top of these cards, there are elemental correspondences, and then there are prompts at the bottom as well. Thanks for joining me on this roundup of 10 of my favorite Oracle decks from 2023. Please leave a comment in the comment section and let me know if you have any of these decks and what you think about them, or if there are decks here that I've shown you that you want or you didn't know you wanted, that you don't have, and why. I'd be curious to know. Also, if there are decks that are in your favorites from 2023 that I didn't include, I'd love to know what they are. I hope you had an incredible 2023, and I wish for you and for the world a peaceful and joyful 2024. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining me.